Jambo, fellow adventurers, it's Mike Dooley, and to correct my pronunciation, thanks for the tips out there, Jumbo is the Swahili greeting for hello, but to adventurers like us, it means I'm glad our paths have crossed in this most awesome of all adventures called life. And today, it's for a spiritual tune-up on one of my absolute all-time, in 20 years teaching, favorite lessons. Sometimes knocking on one door, like a little mouse. It's not that attractive. You don't know if it's going to have any payoff, as in taking baby steps down a path to bring about transformation in your life. Sometimes you assess your doors. None of them are that good. Better to do something than nothing, always. You knock on that door, and that damn thing doesn't open. And you knock some more and it doesn't open. And you knock some more and it doesn't open. Fortunately, you're knocking on other doors as well. But this one door that you didn't even want to knock on, good for you that you knocked on it, because suddenly that door opened. A door you didn't even know existed. A door that is like flaming hot, super cool. And the door you knocked on never opened. Just as well, sometimes knocking on one door forces another door to open that you did not know was there, that would never have opened had you not knocked on that first sucky door. Oh my gosh, has this shown up time and time again in my life, beginning from the dark night of my soul. I notice I talk a lot about 20 years ago when I was at rock bottom. And I also talk about adversity and challenge and times like we're going through right now where there doesn't seem to be a silver lining. But it's in these moments of adversity that greatness is summoned, that infinite possibilities are aroused. And so right now, if you're going through a funk, some more so than others, consider it a sign that a great big dream is coming true. Okay? So, going back to my dark night of the soul, I had only sucky options. That's another talking point, maybe tomorrow. So I assessed them, and I chose my least sucky. And one of those least sucky paths, which was truly sucky, that's a word, S-U-C-K-Y, truly sucky, was speaking, professional speaking. Speakers can get paid a ton of money, and I like to ramble about the nature of reality, as you can clearly see. But I didn't like speaking in front of anybody, any audience more than 3 people. I'd never done so in my life, and I was almost 40, with 1 or 2 exceptions in which I was rather humiliated. But I didn't want to lose my house. So one of the sucky options before me, given that I liked writing, was, hey, maybe you could do the same thing with your voice and get paid, since writing isn't paying and nobody would publish me. And so I asked a professional speaker, one of the most renowned speakers in the state of Florida, if I could buy him some beers and learn about how he got started. Always ask people for help. That's another teaching point. Ask people. 9 out of 10 will give you too much information and you will be so grateful. 1 out of 10 is too busy. Bless them. So I knocked on this door timidly, afraid, didn't want to. I hated speaking. I hated speaking to an audience. Not that I had done it much, just Toastmasters. And I asked him for tips. He said, yes, let's go drink beer. So I bought him all this beer. And the whole night we talked about internet marketing. And I drove home thinking that was a big waste, but it's just as well because I hate speaking. 4 days later, another door flew open that never would have flown open had I not knocked on that sucky door and asked for help as a professional speaker. And it had nothing to do with speaking. The same guy called me back and said, Mike, you've got 3,000 people in your database, and I've got 3,000 people in mine. And a friend of mine has taught me how to do internet marketing to launch a self-published audio program over a year. Every month, there's a new installment. We'll just interview each other every month. This got me over the hurdle of committing to a big project. I said, if you're going to be my partner, I'll do it. I was like, I'm all on this. What do we call it? I came up with the name Infinite Possibilities, the Art of Living Your Dreams. He was like, wow. And I was like, wow, I need to hear that for my life. And then I did everything he said, even though it was a bit salesy, it was a bit aggressive, like tell people what's in it for them. And I was like, I don't really like doing that, but I'm desperate. I did everything he said. And on the debut day, I sold $5,000 to my little list of Notes from the Universe subscribers. You are the wind beneath my wings. And he sold zero. And I said, didn't you do all that stuff you told me to do? You sold zero? I didn't believe him. And he didn't believe me. I didn't believe me. And he said, no, I thought it was too salesy. Anyway, it's like the divine moves in mysterious ways when you have a dream, wealth and abundance, friends and laughter, creative, fulfilling work, international travel. That's where I was, emerging from the dark night of my soul. The universe is like, I know how to do that. You need to get over this block. You need to have some confidence in yourself. You need to put together a program that I'll help you title Infinite Possibilities, the Art of Living Your Dreams. And I'm going to bring somebody into the equation. But I can't get him into the equation unless you approach him. So approach him on any feeble context. Now, I didn't hear that conversation. I was just like, this is the best I can do with my lot in life is start exploring public speaking. It's like, no. Every step you take, the universe takes 10,000 on your behalf. You take another 10,000 more. You take another 10,000. Do you see them? No, you see nothing. That's the hook of life. But because you did something, anything is better than nothing. Given, there's pandemic now, given there may be some constraints, but do stuff on the internet, Google and search and read success stories and do spiritual tune-ups with me. This counts. But, so can you also knock on doors. Anyway, the guy bowed out and said, Mike, you don't have to split that money with me. I'm like, and he said, just do it yourself. I'm like, oh. I never would have done it myself. This was the universe getting everything in order based on my further dream, drawing me through unthought of territory, so that I could be in this place where I was suddenly on the hook. I was not going to refund anybody their money. I was going to produce. I was going to deliver. And I bore down and I crammed and I wrote a script of like 8,000 or 9,000 words titled Thoughts Become Things, Chapter 1 of Infinite Possibilities. And I was on a tear. It took 10 months to finish those 12 chapters. But then my Notes from the Universe subscribers bought more and more and more. And one of those subscribers was Rhonda Byrne and her sister in Australia, in Melbourne. And I didn't know that. I didn't know them. And then one day they called, they sent a message, email, Dear Mike, we love the notes. Dear Mike, we love Infinite Possibilities. Can we interview you for this documentary on the law of attraction called The Secret? I was like, I don't know, maybe. What's in it for me, man? And so I did it. And because I was in The Secret, suddenly people who would not publish, now this is a couple of years down the path, the people who wouldn't publish, even really cool publishers, the best publisher in the world, they wouldn't even publish Infinite Possibilities because I was unknown. But because I had a raised platform being in The Secret, Simon & Schuster published Infinite Possibilities, The Art of Living Your Dreams. And because of you, it debuted on the New York Times bestseller list. The same program, words, cleaned up a lot, that I had done because I knocked on that door to learn how to speak. Fellow adventurers, sometimes knocking on one door that you didn't even want to knock on forces another better door to open that never would have opened unless you had knocked on that first door. So don't be waiting for the yellow brick road to come to your front door, because it ain't. Okay, it's going to show up in disguise. It's going to be really yucky. Well, not necessarily awful. It's not even going to show up. You're going to have to go out into the world, go out to the mall, go out and mingle, go out on the internet until the pandemic passes, and be available. Reach out, knock on doors, turn over stones, and prepare to be astounded. All right. Thanks so much for letting me do this every day. I am honored and so happy that I get to do this. Speaking. I never did speak professionally much, maybe once or twice a year. Merrill Lynch or somebody calls and asks me to speak. once or twice a year. It's not what I had in mind back when I started out, but it's just as well because I'd rather be here with you right now, writing notes from the universe and doing all that you make possible for me. Tally ho!